Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome back to the Roguecast. I've got no fancy intro.
This is maybe the most exciting Wednesday of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Nick,
don't
explain.
Sell that.
Yeah, Nick, why is it the most exciting Wednesday?
I thought it was the most boring Wednesday of all time.
Oh.
I think
Dave, why is it the most boring Wednesday of all time?
There's just nothing happening.
Oh, okay.
I want to counter that. I will say that there was a lot of comics out this week.
Nick,
and
you're changing your story. Sounds like it is the most exciting Wednesday of all
No,
time.
what that means is that this podcast now has a twist.
What?
Nick just threw us for a twist. No. This is a week that looks a little quiet on its surface.
Yeah.
But it's secretly a very strong week, I think. It's a good week of reads.
Are you saying on the surface it looks calm and ready, but what's ready to drop bombs?
What?
I'm quoting Eminem.
Who are you quoting?
Eminem.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said. Yes, sure.
Lots of number ones, but also a plethora of number twos and threes for books that continue to be really, really good.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Reminder that Pokemon Day is Friday. Unless Serena is still sick, in which case it will not be happening.
Yeah.
But come, bring your kiddos, draw Pokemon, get some Pokemon stuff, search for Pokemon in the store.
Yeah, we've done this for a few years now, or a couple years. It's been warmly received. There will literally be, assuming it comes off, little tiny pint-sized Pokemon hidden throughout the store that your kid can go on a little treasure hunt on, and then they get a little goodie bag when we do it. I believe we do not expect to have Pokemon cards for sale.
We will not have Pokemon cards for sale.
That is how hard they make it to get these days.
Yep.
And if you're a parent trying to get them, you already know this.
Yes. Yep. We will
have a few little prize packs.
And we'll, of course, have a full live-action Pikachu in the store shocking people.
Yes.
Don't piss it off.
Landlord approval.
Yes.
Because they did say there could be some legal
They said something about giant rat lightning deaths, and I don't know what that means. But
we do make you sign a waiver as you walk in.
That's right. I state your name, agree to be electrocuted by a giant rat.
He's not going to kill every single child.
No. Some of them will survive. One of them might get superpowers.
That's true.
If we can't get Pikachu, we're looking to bring in a Jigglypuff to sing people to sleep.
Right. But no Squirtles. Having that much water around the store, we've been there. We don't need that.
I'm fine for a magic card, but you guys kind of negated that because you didn't want to Gyarados. And
he flips,
exactly.
He flops.
That's
he
it. That's what he does.
Into a serpent
and kills us all, which is maybe okay.
So Pokemon Day.
Yep, Pokemon Day. What else we got?
We also have our clearance sale still going on. Still a lot of good stuff out there. Yeah, we've sold like 300 things off that table already.
Because there's a lot of good stuff.
People are always finding stuff. They're coming up like really pretty excited at some of the stuff they get. And 50% off is huge.
Yep.
When we ring it up, it scans at full price, and then we hit a button, and it magically halves it. And it just you just see these numbers drop. They just plummet. Yep. And people get these great buys.
Yep. All right. Games-wise, we got new Marvel Champions, the card game from Fantasy Flight. We got Wonder Man and Hercules.
Yep. It's two kind of heavy hitters.
Wonder Man comes with Grim Reaper. Hercules comes with Ares.
Yep. That's fitting. Basically, every pack has a villain.
Has their villain, in the mix. We got a game called Fallout Power Play. This looks similar to the Star Trek Lower Decks Buffer Time in its packaging. It's a smaller game.
This is the official Fallout?
Yes. It is a competitive card game for 2 to 4 players where you guile, force, and raw luck will play on your side to assure victory. You control one of 4 factions: Brotherhood of Steel, Enclave, Raiders, and Super Mutants. And you use unique cards to battle your foes and the Wasteland.
Cool. Sounds fun.
We got a game called Ghost Galore, where you are building a fun ghost house in an abandoned mine with various monsters.
Love that.
Yep.
As premises go, you could not do better than
You
that.
want to build your tracks efficiently, but also you want monsters and the best scares.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just the best.
Nothing to add.
No notes.
We got the new D&D Icons of the Realms. It's the pre-painted minis, the blind boxes. The Monster Menagerie Revised, which comes with things like the Red Slod, the White Abashi, and Septon Modron.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I know what a Modron is.
Yep.
There was also a big mini of the Mighty Rock. The Randy, do you know what the Rock is from? Like which lore and culture?
Greek mythology, right?
I believe it to be Arabic mythology, Arabic lore, because it shows up in the 1001 Nights stories.
Okay, all right.
I believe it was original to that, but that could itself be like drawn from lore. So I don't know.
Is it true that Dwayne The Rock Johnson took his name from the Mighty Rock?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe
he spells
that's
it with a K.
True, because his original gimmick was actually going to be that he had giant wings and took travelers to his nest to devour them.
Yeah, and they were like a little less devouring, please.
And then he was like, "Well, I could try wrestling."
He's like, if I can't devour them, what am I even doing here?
I mean, that's better than my theory that he took his name because he loved rock lords.
He just like rocks.
Yeah,
he's a geology fan.
Well, I can see that.
There's an alternate universe.
Yep.
Where he's dressed in a giant, colorful bird suit.
It's true. in all the multiverse and all the infinite worlds, one of those worlds has.
Dave, there might be a world where you are dressed in a colorful bird suit.
If there are truly infinite universes, there has to be
Dave the Rock Farabee.
I love that.
No, Davis the Morant. Which is an inside joke for about 20 people.
Yeah, maybe less than that, actually.
We also did get HeroClix. We got the 2026 starters from Marvel and DC.
Those are pretty cool.
There were a couple others, but they're already sold out, so I'm not going to tease anyone with them.
It's best you don't know.
But they were cool, and now you can't have them.
Like, if they come back in, we'll get them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it when they come back in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, pipe down.
And then we got the Field Guide to Floral Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a floral Draconomicon.
This looked fun.
You know, all these little field guides that we've got, like, they also did these sort of, Alchemist's Guide to, like, Herbology or whatever. And stuff like that. These field guides are all beautifully illustrated. They're cool gift items for, like, D&D players. Or just, like, I know lots of people know people who are just into dragons, you know, as a concept. And floral dragons is kind of a neat new thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about comics this week. I got a decent-sized stack here.
Let's.
I'm going to start with the beginning of a 9-part crossover between Spider-Man and Venom. Amazing Spider-Man and Venom Death Spiral.
Yep.
This is a one-shot. It is co-written by Joe Kelly of Amazing Spider-Man, Al Ewing of All New Venom, or just Venom now, I guess.
Yeah, just Venom.
And Charles Soule, late of the Eddie Brock Carnage. And this brings together Mary Jane Venom, Eddie Brock Carnage, and Peter Parker Spider-Man. And there is a new villain called Torment, who is murdering people.
I just realized the big there's a double page splash for the titles or for the credits. There's a lot of people involved in this, but it has like kind of it's cool. It's done like one of those corkboard, like the Make the Connections corkboard murder investigation.
Yep.
And it's got Spider-Man in the center and Venom and Carnage off to the sides with these weird, pinned spiral connecting them. And I just conceptually cool idea.
And in execution, it's kind of interesting because we get a story that is going, but at the bottom of each page, there is a murder that is happening.
Yeah, and you'll start to notice the pattern of the murders as you go on.
Yep.
I got about halfway through and then realized, oh, that's what's going on. And there's a big reveal at the end related to that. But right now, this is all kind of set up, reestablishing the relationship between Carnage and Eddie, in case you haven't read the Carnage book, which you should because it's really good.
Yep.
The relationship between Mary Jane and Venom, which again you should read because it's really good.
Yep.
The relationship between
and this is like a long time regular listeners know this, but we are not devoted Carnage and Venom fans. We're not
in fact I kind of hate Carnage
fans of these guys who are just kind of the sometimes they can just seem like the extreme 90s edgelord villains.
Yep.
But you put a good writer on just about anything, and they can find something in it.
Venom and Carnage are both big pleasant surprises.
In the last year or two, they've been rocking, and so it was cool to revisit these characters that we're already kind of in on some of this stuff going on.
Yep.
I believe this artist is the artist from Carnage.
He is.
Is that right?
Yes, as Jesus says, it's really nice.
We talked about his stuff all the time on Carnage. His cool. When Carnage is hosted by Eddie Brock right now.
Yep.
And they have like sort of an internal monologue and conflict going on, in which Carnage appears like he's got this like blood red suit, right? And hat.
They give him a great look.
And And like that guy is a great artist for this. Like he's really good on it. But it kind of catches you up on like what is going on amongst the symbiotes and among for Peter Parker. Following right up on the thing because he'd been in space for like a year.
Yep, he'd been in space.
Yeah, you don't need to know about it. They're going to tell you the gist of it or where things are right now for him.
Ben Reilly had been impersonating him.
Yep, and when he comes back, he's also kind of doing the drudge work of. He says this is like super catching up on things can be like a really be an unfun work kind of thing, and he's like listening to like hundreds of backed up messages,
yep.
And so kind of part of how you get a little bit of what's going on is how he reacts to those messages, whether he's like delete it or keep going or follow up on it or whatever. But it's a promising first issue.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It is a little bit of a darker story. Obviously you could probably guess from the fact that there's a serial killer at the center of it. But I'm going to say, like, as opposed to the 90s Carnage stuff, which was kind of splatterpunk sort of style, this is a more interesting and kind of investigatorial style.
There's a new Predator book, Predator Bloodshed, written by a new name to me, Jordan Morris, with, again, really nice art. This is Rory Coleman and Roland Boschi. I don't know either name, but a good, promising new team because it's set at a fighting tournament in 2035, like a sort of a billionaire's island, and all these extreme fighters are showing up, some of them with like cybernetic enhancements, to have like a deathmatch style, Mortal Kombat style fight.
This is like an illegal fight thing.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
And there are, while they're sort of bonding and talking about who they are and how they got there, there's a predator watching them. And a predator joining an extreme sports fight actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, he's not a contestant. He's
crashing the party.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like he's going to hunt them, or do we think he's actually going to somehow face off with these people?
He jumps in the ring. He's going to jump in the ring.
He does want to fight them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is going to be, perhaps in some sense, a Mortal Kombat Predator comic.
Yeah.
Has the Predator ever been in a Mortal Kombat?
I don't think so.
Game?
Do you think he would?
I feel like he might have been. I can almost see like a cutscene where he takes somebody out and you see him go anytime or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I have to look.
I can't say for sure. Has the Xenomorph been in Mortal Kombat?
I don't think so.
I'm sure. I wonder if it's just because they were asking for too much money, because they would want those characters.
Anyway, this was really good. I like the character work quite a bit. I like the world building. I'm not always a Predator Comics guy, but I'll definitely be following this one.
Yeah, that's a fun premise.
Yeah. Punisher gets a new #1, now freed from the Red Band bags. You can read his comics on the shelves again.
Yep.
This follows directly on from Punisher Red, but you don't have to have read it, because I didn't, and I could pick up on it.
Yeah.
Basically, Frank Castle was used as a mind-controlled hitman against Tombstone by Kingpin.
Yep.
Now he has the chip out of his head.
Okay, it was a chip or something.
And Microchip maybe built the chip, because he's mad at Microchip. He's got him in like a room somewhere.
People know who Microchip is, right? He's like his old
everyone who knows who Punisher is knows who Microchip is.
Yeah, he showed up in the more recent Punisher Netflix series.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They used him.
This has Punisher, Tombstone, Punisher's old foe, Jigsaw. Really, really nice artwork.
It is.
Yeah, it is weirdly detailed.
And sort of a back-to-basics Punisher. DC has New History of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident. Dave, you and I were talking about this off mic. The New History of the DC Universe was a 4-issue series from Mark Waid that sort of realigned all the history stuff, but it was almost...
It was a lore book.
It was less of a story. It was kind of a story. Like, it was presented as a series of comic book panels.
But it was supposed to be Barry Allen...
narrating it.
Narrating it out, unsynced from time, or like he's become like a Time Lord in the future, or something like that. And he was like, let me walk you through all the major events of the DC Universe. And this is not quite the lore dump of that. It is...
No, this is actually a story, but I believe that the plan for these New History of the DC Universe, like one-shots, is going to be, assuming this isn't just a one-off, is that they're going to be sort of continuity implants. This is a story that explains a continuity element. And this particular one is, why is Dakota not a bigger deal, essentially?
Right.
And it takes place during the time when Luther was president.
Yep.
And
that's interesting. That was like 20 years ago, or maybe more.
But in the DC Universe, there's probably 2.
Right.
And he, along with Waller, sends in the Suicide Squad to Dakota because they have more superheroes per capita than anywhere else. and they're basically sort of like going to put them away. It's an interesting story. It's a question about like...
It does seem like it's going to realign things, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's also... The storytelling is from the point of view of a future Rocket's son...
Right.
Who is also Static's like protege and has powers. And so he basically witnesses all this from outside of time, and it looks like he may be going back to realign Dakota to where it should be as a new Static.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how it ends up, because DC is always having trouble sort of figuring out what to do with the milestone characters. Yeah. They're putting some good creators on it at times, but it just hasn't all kind of clicked. So I'm like, is this meant to be like kind of a cool send-off for Milestone for a while?
No, it's definitely not.
It's definitely will set up some new status quo for them.
And if you're a Milestone fan, and I'm a big fan of these characters, they're served pretty well in here. Icon, Rocket, Hardware, Static are all used really well. They definitely... They get into the sort of like the awful devil's bargain they kind of have to make with Luthor and how that sits with all of them. It's a good Dakota story.
Okay.
Vertigo has its third launch, which is... This is a title worthy of James Tynion. The Peril of the Brutal Dark, an Ezra Cain Mystery. By Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips, the guys who did That Texas Blood, Enfield Gang Massacre.
Yep. Ultimate Wolverine. Well, he wrote Ultimate Wolverine.
Nick, you like this quite a bit.
Yeah, I've not been in love with the Vertigo books. I don't like zombies, and then the second one I can't remember. Oh, it was a Hitman one.
Right.
This one, I really, really enjoyed. It's kind of a mishmash of pulp meets like Dick Tracy, Indiana Jones, focusing on sort of a Philip Marlowe kind of character.
Yeah, kind of a tough detective guy.
Who gets roped into a big mystery involving Hephaestus.
It's a museum.
The hammer,
Anvil.
Anvil of
Hephaestus.
Yeah,
which is, it's their Ark of the Covenant.
Right,
Yeah.
It's a mystic artifact. The detective guy himself, what is it, Ezra Cain. Has some background because he in college or whatever was
worked at a museum.
Yeah, and
so he is not like Indiana Jones, an archaeologist, but he does have a background in it. But he is a PI in the 40s.
It's just, I thought it was a really good story. It had good dialogue. I thought the art by Jacob Phillips was really good,
and it's pretty pulpy. There's some shootouts and stuff in there, and him being a fairly sly detective dude. I think we might all say, although the new Vertigo hasn't fired us up as much as we'd hoped, that this is the best thing
I think
that they
it
put
is.
out.
I definitely think it is the best of the three so far.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think there's that kind of cool hook of noir detective meets Indiana Jones. I think is something that is going to maybe draw people in.
Yeah. The book I think we all really like this week is The Rocketeer The Island.
You know what? There's been a history of Rocketeer miniseries that have not been great or have not grabbed us.
They're okay.
They're okay.
Yeah.
But
this one was really good.
This is a lost plot from Dave Stevens, the creator of The Rocketeer.
Yep.
Written by John Layman, drawn by Jacob Edgar. And what's kind of notable about it is that...
Even if it was just the basic premise,
it
would actually be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Which... The basic premise is that early on we see this flashback where kind of a young Cliff Secord, the Rocketeer,
when he's a stunt pilot,
he meets Amelia Earhart. He
fanboys over her.
He fanboys over her, and then 5 years later, when she's missing, he is surprised when someone from the government, a sort of mysterious government type, comes and indicates. A, they know he was the Rocketeer.
Yep.
And B, they want him to go to a politically sensitive place like in the Pacific, where they're not supposed to be or whatever, to look for Amelia Earhart there. They think she even could be kidnapped.
And he doesn't want to go at first until he is informed by his pal that that's where his flame Betty and her scummy photographer pal Marco are going to be.
Right. He's taking her there just because to show off I can take you anywhere, baby. And Cliff's like, oh, I can get close to Betty again? I'll do it.
Right.
Do we want to reveal who's on the boat? Because it's kind of notable.
I think we can, because otherwise I think it'd be easy to maybe skip this.
Yeah.
Well, just from the basic premise, you will see it on the cover. The island he's going to has this big rocky outcropping, or I can't remember if it's painted by the natives, that is a big skull.
Yep. So you probably know what that is.
You know who lives on Skull Island? You probably do. That is going
Dr. Skull?
Dr. Skull. Dr. Skullo. That character, that Behemoth does not show up in this first issue.
But we know he's coming.
And that's a cool
However,
premise.
there are some pretty big names that show up.
Oh, before we say who it is, I just wanted to remind people that there were only 2 graphic novels that came out from Dave Stevens with the Rocketeer in his lifetime. One might have even actually been posthumous. I can't remember.
I think they were both before he died.
Okay.
Yeah, both before.
But in both of them, there was a major pulp hero who was in it, I believe, without permission.
Yes.
And they skirted around saying their names, but it's very obvious. The first one was Doc Savage.
Yep.
In fact, the rocket in the comics was Doc Savage's jetpack, not was it Charles Lindbergh as it was in the movie. A very clever replacement.
It was Howard Hughes.
Or Howard Hughes. Yeah. I was mixing up aviator types. And then in the second one was the Shadow.
Yep.
So this has some other sort of pulp or pop characters from the era.
Pulp adjacent.
Yeah, pulp adjacent.
Yeah.
But I don't think a young boy reporter named Tintin is too... he's not too pulp in and of himself. But he is a pop character.
He's that globetrotting adventurer. He fits.
Yes, globetrotting adventurer, yeah. And when the steamer ship they're on, which is a little bit of a battered, tough old steamer ship, is captained by one Popeye.
Yep.
A sailor man.
Yeah, who's portrayed he is a little cartoony the way he's depicted, but they also make him a little bit more realistic too.
It's not like he's popping a can of spinach in this.
So
he's very much kind
more
of
like a grizzled old sea captain who they show kind of like in Jaws. They're singing raunchy songs at night after they all drink, and
Tintin has Snowy.
Tintin has Snowy, yeah, and I'm like, maybe I don't know if this is all the guests we're going to get, but even if it was,
the lady
cool.
archaeologist is a new character, right?
I did not recognize her.
I think
Dave
she is introduced as a foil for Betty, I believe, basically.
Right.
By the way,
there's
Betty's a jerk. I'm just going to say it. Betty's a jerk.
Well, I was talking about this with Dave off mic. Cliff in the original stuff,
he's
an
jerk.
asshole.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
And I like how Layman is able to sort of tap into what the Rocketeer movie did, and make Cliff a little less of that.
Agreed.
A little bit more of that high adventure seeking guy.
Yes. He's still a little bit of a doofus.
He's a doofus, but I prefer doofus to a jerk because you're not wrong. In the graphic novels, he doesn't deserve Betty.
No, not at all.
Well, but Betty is also, I believe she was depicted somewhat as she is. This is in the almost the cliche of a gold digger. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But she's like, you are going to take me on holiday, aren't you? You know, you are going to buy me that mink stole, right?
But Cliff is outright mean at times in the Dave Stevens stuff, and I just
here he's more like the character from the comics.
I will say, I have not read a Rocketeer and been so excited about it in quite a while.
This was super fun.
Rocketeer holds a special place in my heart for the movie.
Yep.
Joe Johnston did such a...
It is a great synthesis of what was good in the comics.
Yep.
And I'm very excited that we have something that kind of rises to that level.
Yep. And then also has a few cool novelty hooks.
Yeah. I really was impressed with the art. I do not know who this artist is, but he does a really good job cartooning.
It reminded me, there's a few miniseries a little ways back that were a little too cartoony for me by Jay Bone.
Yeah.
And this looks more like Jay Bone's occasional art partner from the old days, the sadly lost Darwin Cook. Mm-hmm. This has a little bit more of what I think of as Darwin Cook, which is to say, the airplanes and the steamship and all that stuff is actually kind of grounded a little more in reality. The characters are a little exaggerated, but not as exaggerated as Jay Bone. It is very cool to look at. Yeah. So that was a very pleasant surprise. I didn't expect to be getting behind a Rocketeer comic, and it was really good.
Yeah, same. Newest Universal Monsters, Phantom of the Opera. Mm-hmm. It's a bit further afield than the Dracula, Frankenstein.
It is, but the Phantom is a Universal Monsters character.
Thing.
Yeah.
This one is definitely inspired in no small part by the musical.
It is, but it's also following, I think, it's been a little while since I've seen the Universal Monsters one.
Right.
I could have sworn it was silent, which is weird. But I may be mixing it up. There may be the Universal Monster was one, and a version that was 10 years prior or something.
Right.
But yeah, it is actually what I remember of reading the book maybe 10 or so years ago was that I was like, oh, the Phantom is actually like a prototype for a lot of villains in the sense that in his secret underground lair and stuff like that, and I hope they get around to this. I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
He has like death traps and stuff.
Yeah.
And at some point he like traps somebody in there, and I swear it's a room where like one side there's like a tunnel out and it's super cold when you'll freeze to death, and one side is a tunnel out and it's like super hot and you'll burn to death. And I was like, that is some James Bond shit.
Yeah,
It's Jigsaw-like.
It is. But yeah, if you're drawn to any aspect of the Phantom of the
Are you saying
Opera,
Phantom of the Opera, the original Jigsaw?
that kind of like you're always finding antecedents. When I watched The Island of Dr. Moreau, you saw that, right, Nick?
Yeah.
He is definitely like, Dr. Octopus or something like that, or even Dr. Doom, because he was like maniacal and a megalomaniac in a way only comic villains afterwards were.
Yep.
But yeah, you'll see the early murders of the Phantom and Christine being questioned by the inspector and all that stuff, and murder at the Opera House.
We have a one-shot Star Trek Deviations. This is one of their out of continuity kind of things, called Threads of Destiny. This is part of Star Trek's 60th anniversary year.
Yep.
It's a focus on Uhura, who through the course of a weird time portal they found on a planet. They were always finding time portals on planets.
Always be finding time portals.
She winds up stumbling into 1963 North Carolina and running into old-fashioned racism.
Yep. That's a rough one.
Yep.
But there's an interesting thing that comes from it, and I think it's something that Star Trek fans may appreciate.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want to spoil what it is.
Nope. New Oni book called Murder Drones, which is about it's from an animated series.
Yeah, I think on Prime is what we determined.
A Mad Cave book called Is Ted Okay? Which looks like a horror book to me.
Is he okay?
I don't know if he is. He looks like he's on fire.
I was going to say, he looks like he's on fire, and that's never okay.
Ted's dead.
We got the Batman the Dark Knight Returns #1 Facsimile edition.
Right, this is the iconic Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns from the 86, 87.
That's 3 different covers, right?
Yep, new covers.
Yeah,
two new covers.
One recreates
One
the
classic,
original,
yeah.
one is by Jim Lee, and one is by Frank Miller in present.
Yeah.
Are they, they're doing, were there 3 or 4 issues? There are 4, right?
4, I think.
So they're doing all 4 issues.
Yes.
As facsimiles.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is iconic for a reason.
Yep.
I can remember, I stumbled across, I came to it a little bit late. It wasn't complete yet, but I got issue 2, I think, randomly at a early comic convention I went to at a Howard Johnson's, maybe the first one I went to.
Okay. Yeah.
I still remember the weird sort of, because it was like weird and violent, I think it has where he gets his ass beat by the mutant leader.
Yep.
And I was like shocked kind of at the violence of it and that muddy painted tones of it. And I even remember sort of the smell of the comic. It's one of those, I had never seen anything on that paper, that really good paper before. But it was kind of shocking and adult to me. But it was like, this comic made an impact like few others. And within that next year, when they put it out in like an early graphic novel, back when that was not common, I obsessed over it and went back to it again and again. So I think it's cool that they're pre-printing it. Yeah. In many ways, it was, it's the clear inspiration for Absolute Batman. It's the first time Batman was ever built like a battleship like that. And it has some amazing Frank Miller artwork with Lynn Varley. Is that her name?
Lynn Varley doing the color?
Doing the color, yeah. Did you see this thing recently that cropped up in kind of comic art nerd circles online, where they showed how Frank Miller hand re-inked some of his own panels because he didn't like what Klaus Janson had done?
Oh, interesting.
And they showed them side by side. They showed Klaus Janson's original and his re-inked version. And so one of the ones, you remember there's this very iconic page of Superman, he's gets the whole splash page. He's holding a tank. It's like him in some war in South America. Oh, it's like Corto Maltese.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a very iconic shot. And I have to say, apparently he butted heads every once in a while with Klaus Janson over something. Klaus was doing this kind of slightly retro Superman face that looked a little, I don't want to say Kurt Swanish, but within Frank Miller's style, it felt like it Kurt Swanned it up a little bit, and it didn't quite look right. So I got to say, Frank Miller was right to re-ink a few of those things, as good as Klaus Janson is.
Interesting.
If you've never read it, this would be a very cool way to get it.
Speaking of facsimiles, I will quickly mention the big one for me this week, which holds a really near place in my heart, is G.I. Joe number 2.
Which happened to be the first issue you read.
Yeah, it was the first issue I had read. I think I stole my brother's copy and started my G.I. Joe obsession, because the cartoon was where it was at for me. But I know he was more into the comics, so this is kind of where my comic obsession started. This introduces Quinn.
Right? Before, actually, I'm going to just quick say, the cover is cool. It's like this very clearly Arctic environment, desolate wastelands and mountains and stuff.
Yep.
You see a sort of a research base that's in flames and smoke. A bunch of the Joes in winter gear and all kind of toting assault rifles. And the cover copy reads, "An American research station annihilated. A Russian base destroyed. The G.I. Joe team must probe. The panic at the North Pole."
Some good cover copy.
Yeah. And that is kind of what happens. But before, like, they... when the brass finds out about this, like, weird... This base where everybody seemed to have gone insane and killed each other... They're like, we need to send in a Joe team. It's like, too bad these 4 that we're calling in are on leave. It was like, looks like they're going back to the front lines. And then there's a cool recruitment or pickup scene, I guess, for each of the characters where, like, you kind of see what they do in their off time, which was just a cool thing to see. Scarlet is at a karate tournament. Stalker was out doing what looked like hunting a deer, but you find out he's actually just doing photography. Snake Eyes is in his sensory deprivation tank.
Disconnecting from the world a little bit. And then what follows is a very, this is a tightly written, cool-ass story of them parachuting in and having to do, like, survivalist stuff in the north, finding out about these, like, Russians developing this, like, low-frequency audio thing that drives people into paranoia, murderous paranoia. We see, you were about to say, Nick, Quinn, who's an Eskimo mercenary who was an original character to the comic, who has an amazing arc in the comic that does come to a conclusion, and he outdoes the Joes in this. It was like... Well, it was one of those instances where, yes, he punked them out, but not to the point where it was like making fun of the characters. And Hama did such an amazing job.
He was actually just supposed to be a real badass, and he catches them unprepared a little bit.
Yeah.
And but what the story is actually about is this kind of warrior bond that forms between him and his opponents, because he is contracted by, I guess, the Russians. It's not even Cobra, is it?
No, it's not Cobra.
He's contracted by the Russians to do some black ops
stuff. He will fulfill that to the letter.
Right. He has this very hardcore code of honor, and oh man, the stuff where, like, there's a part where he, like, destroys their transportation, and they're like, we need to catch up with him fast, and they're like, what can we do? And they it's like they MacGyver together this kind of, like, ice boat sort of thing that catches the strong Arctic winds and stuff like that. Like, it is actually very cool. It's like, could sound goofy, but it is very cool.
I wonder if you didn't know much about G.I. Joe, and if you have never read this, would this be a good one just to jump in on?
I mean, it was for us as kids.
It was for us as kids, but I'm just imagining...
The art is more utilitarian. Like, I look back at it, and I actually am very impressed with the storytelling, but, like when I was in my teens, I would have said this art's kind of lame. Why can't Jim Lee draw this?
Right. I mean, I think as a person, I think you come to respect art in different ways.
But the storytelling is so good in this, and it has a banger ending.
And Hama just does a good job of doing done-in-one stories.
Yeah, several of the very best issues of G.I. Joe are standalone.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you have any inclination, or you've never read the original G.I. Joe stuff, seek this one out. Just to kind of see what you think. Cause
you, if nothing else, it may change what especially if you happen to not know anything much about G.I. Joe, it will probably change how you think what you think it is like.
Yeah.
Also, oh shit, there was some other point I was going to make about it, and now it's completely escaped me.
Just read it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
Oh, I know what I was going to say is, it was an unusual case where the second issue of G.I. Joe is actually, I think, notably harder to find than like the first issue.
Yeah.
I think the first issue they printed in like really huge numbers. I got it at a Target when I was a kid. Somehow they had it there. There was probably some special deal.
Probably because the toys, they kind of did that.
They wanted to give it a big oomph.
Yeah.
But I think the second issue probably had a more limited and lower print run. And so this was actually much harder to find back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s even. So this was, it's kind of fun. Read the issue that people couldn't get back in the day.
We have several number 2 issues this week.
Yep.
Iron Man number 2, which continues. The AIM has an interesting mechanic going on here where they're trying to recreate Tony Stark's trauma to build their own Tony Stark, basically.
Yep. Have you ever seen the movie The Boys from Brazil, where there's a...
I have not.
Do you know this name?
I don't think I do, actually.
Oh, The Boys from Brazil is about I think a reporter or somebody slowly figures out that in South America there's a secret not base. This is a little more tied to reality than you think, but they're trying to recreate Hitler. And I believe they are literally... I can't remember if there's a little sci-fi element, like they have cloned him from like his DNA or something like that. It came out in the 70s, I think. Maybe 80s. And but I think they're taking the kids and putting him through like as close as they can the process of what it was like, his upbringing was like. I think they're probably trying to like get them into art so that they can then be a failed artist.
Sure.
And then they will implant the seeds of the next Hitler.
Okay. It's dark.
But it's clearly the premise of this as well. But instead of trying to make a villain, they're trying to make another Tony Stark genius.
But they are trying to make a villain because they want him to work for them.
But instead of like being somebody naturally evil, I guess, like Hitler, they're going to take somebody good and they'll make that happen, but then they will pervert it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Tony's on the trail of AIM, which leads to him interacting with one of his big villains in an interesting way, I thought. Almost kind of a funny way. Their Tony is he's pretty interesting. I think
like him.
He's drawing from the movie version, but he is kind of a badass.
I like the relationship with Madame Mask.
I do too.
I think that's really interesting.
It's an evolution of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I also like Captain America kind of... there's a great little dialogue exchange where Captain America is sort of chastising him for basically sleeping with the enemy kind of stuff. And then
Tony gets a little bit of a
Tony fires back and he's like, you haven't always been a Boy Scout. And he doesn't say it, but longtime readers may know of Cap's relationship with Diamondback from the Serpent Society.
Yep.
I'm like, fair call, Tony. You're fair on that one.
I think Williamson is doing an interesting job with this. I really have liked it so far. So.
Same here.
Bringing in some interesting villains as well.
Yeah, I think we can say who this guy is, right?
No, I don't think we should.
Yeah, I think it was a good little... If you know kind of some history...
Is he from his lore? Or is
Not
he from
typically,
another...
but in the first issue we saw...
We saw that one of the characters on the cover.
Okay.
There's two villains, actually, and there's that guy, and then there's the other one.
Yeah, if nothing else, it does seem like Josh Williamson has done his homework, not just on Iron Man, but on the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Including this location that he goes to at the end.
Yeah, I love that. I always love to see
which was a really cool ending.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Iron Man is not he's not on my personal pantheon of favorite characters. I like him in the Avengers. But it's rare that I've had Iron Man runs that I can say I've liked. What I read of what was the famous 80s one? Layton?
Yeah, Bob Layton.
Yeah, Bob Layton.
Bob Layton's run. I liked pretty well Kurt Busiek's run in the late 90s. And this one so far. So, don't drop the ball.
That's your favorite run, right?
Layton, yeah. I came into Iron Man about the same time I came into a lot of Marvel stuff, so it is definitely one of my favorite characters. And I've read a lot of bad Iron Man, so I'm really happy when there's good Iron Man.
Yep.
Basically all of the 90s.
90s is a pretty rough Iron Man. I did introduce, War Machine. Len Kaminsky did some interesting stuff.
That's true. I forgot about that.
But, yes.
But it was also the time of Teen Tony.
It was also the time of Teen Tony. That was in the Avengers, thankfully. That was mostly not on the Iron Man thing. We also have issue 2 of Inglorious X-Force.
Yep.
Which, we all like the first issue of this. Basically, the premise is that Cable... sees President Kamala Khan, the first mutant leader of the United States, assassinated. He travels back in time. His time travel stuff is now kaput. Something's messing with it. So he can't, just jump back and forth. But he puts together an X-Force along with the modern day Kamala Khan.
Yep.
And is trying to protect her from. I think it's interesting. She knows she's going to be president. They're talking about it around her. And the reveal of this issue of why he put these people together was a pretty good one, I thought.
Yep. Also, I think Celia is doing a good job of kind of fleshing some of these characters out. I don't know much about, is it Ichikiro or Dakin, whatever his name is nowadays.
Wolverine's son.
Yeah. I don't really know a ton about him, but they're bringing about kind of a more human aspect to him.
So he's now the Helverine.
The Helverine.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I need to read this. I haven't read this yet. But I like that first issue. Remind me, who else is on this X-Force?
Boom Boom.
And Archangel. His take on Boom Boom is the most interesting take I've ever seen on her.
Yes.
Yeah, Boom Boom as the loyalist, kind of like...
But she's also kind of a party girl.
Right.
Yes.
It's almost as if Jubilee was, instead of being Jubilee, was also kind of a little bit like, let's go blow something up.
Yep.
Like, kind of like, I like a little bit of the brutality.
There's also a few panels that are directly homaging Extinction Agenda. That has Wolverine or Dakin or Ichikiro fighting Warren.
And
fun
Domino is
nod.
lurking in the background for reasons unknown.
It has a pet squirrel apparently.
Has a pet squirrel. What? You think Squirrel Girl's her handler? That'd be amazing.
But I'm enjoying what Sealing is bringing to the table. This one where they're going after kind of a evolution of Wand.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really fun
Strange.
idea.
They're the magic version of S.H.I.E.L.D., essentially.
Yes.
Oh, I hate Wand. I'm going to hate this issue. Never mind.
No, they do some interesting stuff.
No, I'm going to check it out because the writing has been good.
Rogue #2 this week. This continues a sort of... It's set in the modern days, but she's trying to figure out something that happened to her when she was with the Brotherhood in her early days.
Yeah. And the last issue ended with her going to Mystique, her mom, Mom 1, and Destiny, Mom 2, and she's looking to get answers in this. They're not completely satisfying, and so her kind of investigation takes her elsewhere. And they do some interesting things with her powers in this one.
Yeah, they do. Combining her powers and Mystique powers in interesting ways.
Yeah,
I liked that quite a bit.
Yeah. I think this is a satisfying rogue investigation issue.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the loose premise of
I
the
didn't
whole
get
thing.
a chance to read it, but I will. I just flipped to a page that has Constrictor.
Yep,
and I
Constrictor's
do
in there.
like Constrictor.
Yep.
That is a weird random
The
villain.
only thing I can say, the only problem with it is there's no giant possums in this issue.
No.
That
It's
is
missing
true. So we can't break out our possum sign.
Right.
Which I don't know if people even know about the possum sign, but it's a thing.
It does mean, though, that it loses a star from its rating.
That's right. -1 for lack of possums.
There is also the second issue of the Psylocke Ninja miniseries. This is the early days of her being a ninja when she is pitted against Elektra of the Hand.
Yep. Some cool battle stuff.
Second issue of Justin Jordan's sort of weird demon possession cop fighting force, Malevolent.
Oh right, yeah.
Where there's these cops who basically are fighting possessing demons, but they have a new secret weapon that is a girl who was exposed to demons early on, and she is supposed to be their ally, and none of them trust her. Interesting premise. Kind of a fun sort of violent horror action book.
Okay. Yeah.
Newest issue of Absolute Wonder Woman sees her going up against Giganta in really interesting ways.
This was a good issue. I realized I hadn't read the previous issue, which starts this 5-part arc, and has Zatanna in it.
Yep.
In fact, Zatanna there's essentially a Giganta comes with the Suicide Squad team.
Yep.
And this Suicide Squad is sort of an all-female team that also includes Cheetah and Dr. Poison and Giganta. But Giganta does sort of take center stage here, and the way Wonder Woman fights her is really interesting. There is something having to do with Wonder Woman's magic, which was very cool. And I think this is going to be big in muscle mommy circles. Just a guess, just a theory. But it's a very, very cool issue.
We have the conclusion of 3 different KO arcs, DC KO arcs, in Superman, Justice League Unlimited, and The Flash. All of which have been interesting side stories of DC KO.
This is the Justice League Unlimited, where it was sort of their own... doomed mission team of
Time Lost Heroes.
Time
Remnants
Lost
from Within
Heroes.
Seconds that
Yeah.
went into hell to fight Neron.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff in there.
It's been good. I've been enjoying it. I just haven't read this final issue yet.
Flash has been doing a time travel thing with Flash, Impulse, Max Mercury against the Evil Legion. This is co-written by Mark Waid, who's done some of the best Flash stuff. That's been really interesting. I'm curious to see where that all goes. And then Superman is kind of the focus of all this. It's got the Time Trapper.
Superboy Prime.
Yeah,
Superman was really good. I thought it was a good kind of... it went into places I wasn't expecting. Kind of like what KO has been doing this entire time.
Yeah. Tom Taylor's... There's a lot of stuff finishing up this week.
Yep.
Tom Taylor's Detective Comics finished its third story arc, The Courage That Kills.
This was a very cool story about a virus that, like, completely... It's almost like it's the opposite of, like, the Scarecrow's formula.
Yeah.
It removes people's inhibitions so that you will act your most reckless and crazy, and potentially, you know, very easily anybody could get hurt all the time because you'd be doing the most reckless thing. But they challenge what that means, because you see, like, it also means, like, somebody walking away from their abuser and, like, somebody coming out of the closet and stuff like that.
Yep.
But we know that there's also this violent side to it as well. And so Tom Taylor, and I think a very artful way, sort of tells a story that involves that, as well as all the dangers of this setting.
I think a lot of people are missing Detective Comics. It's not a huge thing.
They're missing Detective Comics.
I know. But you guys talking about it makes me want to check. We do have the trades, right?
We do have the trades. There's 2 so far.
It kind of makes me... I love Tom Taylor, but sometimes I lose track of his stuff, or we sell out, and I kind of miss... So I do want to go back, because I think all of the stories that you've been talking about...
It's got Mr. Terrific in it.
It has Mr. Terrific in it. Sounds good. And Mikkel Janin is... like one of the best artists working in comics.
It's true. This was a very, very tight, cool mystery and a story, but a mystery story with a lot of action in it.
That sounds cool.
I recommend it, and I think some deeper thematics.
And it's Batman working on actual mysteries, which is really cool.
It is. I do kind of like he kind of always should be doing that. But I generally like the thing where a regular Batman comic, sort of superhero-y, detective comic, more detective-y.
It's true.
Mortal Thor. I don't know. Did either guys get a chance to read Mortal Thor this week?
I am I'm unmoored from Mortal Thor.
This book is so good.
The Mortal Thor.
The basic premise of this one, this issue, is that Mr. Hyde, you know Jekyll Hyde?
Yeah.
Mr. Hyde gets in the back of a cab, takes the formula, turns him into Mr. Hyde, kills the cabbie, and basically he's trying to use the cab to kill Sigurd Jarlsson's, like, not girlfriend, but like hookup, to sort of drive him. He's basically trying to get Thor. They all think that Thor is in there somewhere, or that he's something.
Yeah.
But Sigurd Jarlsson, a man with a hammer on a rope and no notable powers, keeps thwarting him. It is a really fun issue of a Thor versus Mr. Hyde fight you have never seen this way.
It sounds like why is Mr. Hyde using a vehicle instead of just his giant strength?
Because he is trying to make it look like accidents or something like that.
Okay.
There's a reason for it. It's explained
This is
in
still
here.
Al Ewing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And gorgeous art by Pascal Ferry. I really love this book. It keeps making me want to go back and read his Immortal Thor, which led into it, but it's such an interesting take on the character.
Would you say it's weird?
It's a little odd, yeah. It's not as weird as Ryan North's Hulk Smash Everything.
Which is weird, because Hulk Smash Everything, I thought, was the comic where they were going to do these very straightforward stories about Savage Hulk, just wrecking stuff.
Because Infernal Hulk is doing something very different. And I thought this was the if you want Hulk, but just like rather Smashy Hulk and not Devil Hulk.
Well, Dave, you're not wrong. This is Savage Hulk smashing things.
But he's smashing a black hole.
He's smashing a black hole in this.
Y'all told me that this had some of the craziness of Jeff Loeb's time when he was writing Hulk.
Felt a little like
and Ed McGuinness was drawing it, and Red Hulk was punching the Watcher.
It has that flavor.
It's better than that.
It's executed in such a way that I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird but not bad. I did enjoy
North
it.
is more of like he's a bit more of a thinky writer, where Jeff Loeb, I think that when was doing stuff like the Hulk, was just very like pop.
Yeah.
It was just kind of pop over the top stuff.
Basically, the Hulk is dropped into a black hole by the leader, and he winds up being torn apart by the forces of gravity.
Yep.
And
Which is
coming
what the
back
leader
together
wants,
because
but the leader,
because his anger is stronger than the black hole.
Yeah, and that kind of is unlucky for the leader.
Yeah, it's fun. It is very weird, but it is fun.
There's also a pretty major guest star in this.
Yes, there is. Of the two Hulk books though this week, I thought Infernal Hulk was the better one. They're both good, but this one sort of goes inside the Infernal Hulk's like mind.
Yep.
Where we see the previous Hulk from the previous Incredible Hulk run, as well as various other Hulks in this sort of twisted, horrific dimension.
Yeah, it's like a nightmarescape.
It's like a mindscape.
It reminded me of. Well, there was a place back when Hulk was like. What was it? Oh, when he went full savage, when he was, I think, first removed from Banner as a concept in the 80s, and he became dangerous, they put him in Nightmare's dimension. And it actually reminded me a bit of that. They trapped him in there.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I also am not the biggest fan of stuff that takes place in like mindscapes and stuff like that. So this was a slightly lesser issue for me, although beautifully painted.
Yeah.
And also I'm curious to know what it all means. I don't quite know what it all means.
Well, it feels like it's also borrowing a lot from Mortal Thor, because a lot of these iterations that we see of these characters were in that.
There's also an Asgardian in there.
You said Immortal Thor. You meant Immortal
Hulk. Sorry. Yes.
But there is an Asgardian in here. His name is Agmunder, which apparently means respectful protector.
Oh, interesting.
It's not.
So it seems
not
like
Thor. Something else is going on.
And we do know who. I don't know. I don't think y'all said, and I don't think we want to reveal. But like, who populates this place? Like, where they come from? Do we say that where they come from?
Do we know that?
No, we don't exactly know.
They said that these are things that like the what is it? The Elder One or whatever the evil god is, that he's devoured.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like
the monster mother,
the details of it, what it all means, and stuff like that will be for everybody to kind of figure out and come.
Still makes me want to go back and read Johnson's first run of Hulk books.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking. I think everybody talks about DC, and DC's definitely killing it right now. They got the Absolutes, the DCKO. I think Marvel has a lot of really good takes on their books. Like 2 Hulk books I like, an Iron Man book I like. Captain America's really good. X-Men's been really good. There's a lot of really good books at Marvel right now.
Agreed.
And this is definitely one of them. The finale of the first arc of Escape, Rick Remender and Daniel Cuna's World War II, but with furry animals.
Yep. But pretty dark.
Very dark.
Would you say this is one of Remender's best books?
I would argue it's his best book.
Okay.
I'll say this. This issue, in some ways, is the most upbeat of them all.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like this guy who we've seen just going through hell trying to get to his mission target after his plane crashed and was shot down, basically behind enemy lines. Mm-hmm. The plan starts to come together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets to be like, he's always been a badass, but he's like kind of a badass surviving by the skin of his teeth. And this, he kind of is a little bit in control of situations, even if it sometimes doesn't look like he is. Mm-hmm. And he does a cool fake out on some Nazis, basically.
Is this essentially like Remender's loose take on like Great Escape?
He's not captured like that.
He's not captured like that. I haven't read any of this.
He's not at a camp or anything.
Okay. He's just behind enemy lines?
Yeah, he's behind enemy lines, but he is captured in this. It's just that maybe not as captured as they think.
Okay.
And there's some pretty satisfying stuff going on in this one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
I'll be very excited to see the next issue.
Mm-hmm. Which I guess is going to be a few months out. They're doing the Image Take a Break thing.
It makes sense. Also, Daniel Acuna's art in this is like
gorgeous.
It's at a level of detail that I've never seen from him before.
Yep. Nick, you got anything else there?
Just the third part of the Void Rivals, the Quintesson War. I like Sharkticons, so it's fun to see Sharkticons fighting other robots, and also Cobra Law involved, because, Cobra Law hates all robotics and stuff like that. They're all organic-based, so...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing I was going to mention was Ultimates 21, which has what I've not read this, but appears to be Ultimate Luke Cage on the cover.
Definitely is.
He's a big muscular black man covered with kind of like chains around him that are like wrapped around as like kind of like almost like a weapon. Like his wristbands are made of chains and stuff. He looks cool, but I don't know what his story is. So y'all tell me. Y'all being you, the listener,
right? We've got a few trades. As always, the trades will start on the table because new comics are rocking right now.
The table will be full from the looks of it.
Yep. We got the Barb Wire Compendium, following up on the Ghost Compendium. This is Dark Horse's Comics Greatest World. When in the 90s, everybody was making a superhero shared universe. They had like 16 little dollar comics that they made. Kurt Busiek did one of them. They had a lot of interesting people on it.
Yeah.
Barb Wire was one of the ones that succeeded. It actually became a movie starring Pamela Anderson.
Yep.
She is basically in sort of a post-apocalyptic Detroit, I think.
Yeah.
She's a bounty hunter. She rides a motorcycle. She uses guns.
Kind of a quintessential 90s bad girl, but I think, a bad girl mixed with like an investigator kind of person.
I can't remember
what is it? They have a collection out of that one?
It collects all the issues that she's done.
Because they did Ghost, I know, before that.
This is the same thing. 648 pages. With it's Adam Hughes on Adam Hughes on covers, I see. Chris Warner, longtime Dark Horse guy, was the guy who wrote it, but also includes John Arcudi, the writer who did BPRD Hell on Earth, The Mask, a few other things. Arts from Adam Hughes, Patrick Olive, Paul Gulacy, Tim Bradstreet, Mike Manley, Adam Warren, Dave Dorman, Mike McNolan, Andrew Robinson.
That's a great collection of artists.
Yeah. Now some of those guys may just be covers,
right?
But if you are an interest in it's Steel Harbor is the city she's in.
Yeah.
It's a fake city, but it's Detroit.
Yeah.
Fought over by superpowered street gangs, and she is a bounty hunter going after them.
That's, I don't remember ever reading Barb Wire. I read a few of the other Comics Greatest World, but that's kind of a cool premise.
It is. Yeah. So if you want to dive into some 90s superhero
90s
stuff,
but maybe a little bit better than some of the other stuff.
We got Cyberpunk Edgerunners Madness. This is the Netflix anime about Cyberpunk that a lot of people really liked. This is a manga-sized, manga-style prequel series to that, focusing on Rebecca and her brother Pilar.
I've been wondering what happened to them.
I knew you were. You're always asking about it. Dave's always like, what about Pilar?
Yep.
Daredevil Cold Day in Hell hardcover. This is Charles Soule and Josh McNiven?
Steve McNiven.
Steve McNiven.
Is this Old Man Daredevil?
It's Old Man Daredevil.
It's basically their play on Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, what happens to this dude when he's 58?
Yep.
Or whatever.
Nothing good. It's a sad world.
It is a sad world. DC Finest, one of the big collections of their older stuff. This is The Birth of the Demon, so a lot of the classic demon stuff.
Iconic Kirby demon stuff.
Godzilla Rules of the Earth. This is IDW Classic Collections, which is to say their take on the compact editions or Marvel Premiere editions. This is like $14 for 18 issues of Matt Frank and David Zornow? Matt Zornow?
Matt Zornow, I think.
No, it's Matt Frank. It can't be Matt Zornow.
Oh, that's...
Patrick Zornow? Ebenezer Zornow? Agamemnon Zornow.
Ezekiel Zornow.
I'm not even sure Zornow's the right name. Anyway, this was awesome local Matt Frank and another artist.
This was at a time when it was like one of the... There's not too many ongoing Godzilla comics,
right?
But this was one of them.
This was one of the big ones. Yeah. It's got Mothra. It's got a bunch of other characters in it. This is a great deal. $15 for a ton of Godzilla. And it's been out of print for a while. Mr. Terrific Year 1 gets a collection.
This was much sought after when in single issues.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine Omnibus. This is a big collection of all the Star Trek Deep Space Nine miniseries they've done of late. There's the one that's got the corgi,
right?
There, and then there's one that's like a murder mystery, I think.
I know they put out a Voyager one a few months ago. That was kind of like various Voyager one shots and like one mini series. So they're kind of compiling the eras in these, which is fun.
Yeah. And then Superman Unlimited gets a collection in hardcover and trade. We all really like this first arc. It's Dan Slott's Superman as the kryptonite meteor crashing on Earth and making kryptonite more prominent. Gives Superman weird gold powers.
An alternate form,
yep. Like this one a lot. And then Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan's The War gets a collection.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Are you ready for darkness? Are you ready for a Garth Ennis imagining of what it would be like in the days leading up to a potential nuclear exchange, like in the real world, as seen through the eyes of some 20 or 30 somethings?
Yep.
If you were wondering if Garth...
And then how bad it would be afterwards.
Yep.
Because it's not like Fallout or Walking Dead or anything like that. It's immeasurably worse.
Yeah.
I think this is a good counterpoint to Garth Ennis is always kind of juvenile and jokey. That this man can write when he puts his mind to it. And Becky Cloonan knocks the hell out of the...
This is one that, as it was coming out in single issues, I was reading, but actually, like, I had to, in a very rare case, I had to kind of steel myself to read some of these because of how dark they were.
Yeah.
And it had a little something to do also with, well, maybe the world doesn't seem like it's on the most stable footing right now, and this isn't a good time mentally to be reading this book. So be a little cautious going into it, but it is very well done.
Really well done.
It is a cautionary tale as only Garth could tell it.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk about some trailers and some news. All right, we got a couple of trailers to talk about here. The first, let's talk about the War Machine first. This is a Netflix original movie starring Alan Richardson of Reacher fame as a Army Ranger.
By the way, when you posted this in our message group to talk about what we're going to talk about, I was like, "Oh, are they doing a War Machine from Marvel miniseries?"
No.
I'm like, "That's a Marvel property now. Nobody else can use that word." But it is not.
They cast Alan Richardson as James Rhodey Rhodes.
It was disappointing to me when a cracker appeared on the screen. So these guys are on training maneuvers?
They're Rangers doing training or they I think they are Rangers, but maybe they're
They are. No, but they're doing like an army exercise.
Like qualification, an exercise.
And they run across this big mecha looking thing, which might be alien.
It looks like
alien.
a crashed alien mecha thing, and it starts chewing them up.
It looks like a Decepticon.
And I don't mean chewing literally. I mean it's got guns and missiles and lasers and stuff. Clearly far, far beyond whatever our Earth tech is, but not so far beyond that they can't put up a fight.
Right. I've seen it compared to something that's kind of like Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a group. It's a group.
You
of
imagine
military.
a lot of these guys are going to get cut down. It's clear that they use a fair amount of other resources, and like they've got some gear with them. But at some point, you see some of those like whatever the current like version of like APCs are, those armored personnel carriers, and there's probably mortars and other stuff that they've got and that they're going to use to try and wreck this thing, rocket launchers and stuff.
I'm sure this will be at least somewhat entertaining.
It looked like it could be... Well, it's one of those could actually either be like the most mediocre of mediocre, or it could be surprisingly fun.
The director is, I think, Patrick Hughes, who did an Expendables movie and also the Hitman's...
Is he a Lonely Island guy? It sounded like
that was somewhere in there.
Oh, that was the other one.
That was the other one.
Okay.
This one, he directed Expendables and also the Hitman's Bodyguard and the Hitman's Bodyguard wife.
So
was any of that stuff any good?
It was okay, but that was mainly Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson. Kind of their.
I have a feeling Netflix does not make very good movies for the most part.
For the most part, they're mediocre.
Every so often they make one that's kind of fun despite itself, like the Red One or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No. Was it the Red One? What was the one that had The Rock and Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, it was the Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not the Christmas one.
Oh.
The one with Gal Gadot that was it was a heist.
You liked that more than I did.
It was not a good movie.
Did Netflix also make the one with the guy who was like the TSA guy?
Yes.
Wasn't that Apple?
Was that Netflix? It was something I could watch.
That was Netflix.
That was Netflix.
That was Netflix too. That was also pretty bad.
No, that one was fine.
Okay.
I liked it.
It was like 24 level of dumb but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I hope.
That's about what we hope for. Yeah.
This is what I hope that this movie is.
That's the goal. That's the bar they've got to clear.
A solid 2.5 to 3 stars.
I like Alan Richardson.
I do too.
And I wish he would make better movies.
Yep. As long as he keeps doing Reacher, I don't care what else he does.
We'll see him in the DC universe eventually.
Oh, probably for sure. Yeah. Well, he's already played Hawk.
Yeah.
Yep. He's already played Hawk
in their edgy Titans series.
No, I'd forgotten that.
Some people wanted him to play Batman or something. Though, right?
Yeah.
I could see it. It'd be weird, but I could see it. He could play Absolute Batman.
Yes, he could. He's built for that.
The other trailer, called Over Your Dead Body, is an independent film channel movie, I think.
Yeah, IFC.
And directed by one of the guys from Lonely Island.
Yep.
Starring Samara Weaving and Jason Segel.
I had not watched this trailer when I put it into chat.
It is a fun premise.
Mainly, I saw who was in it, and I was like, "Oh, Randy likes Samara Weaving." I'm Jason Segel.
Oh, did you? I thought I found this one.
Oh, did you?
I think
thought
I did.
threw it in. Oh, okay. Maybe not.
let's walk people through the way the trailer unfolds because it starts out are they husband and wife?
Husband and wife fighting in like a cabin.
Yeah, they're they're sort of bickering, and he wakes up one morning and he's like tied up to a chair or something.
He's taped to a chair.
He's taped to a chair, and she has like poked around, and the reason she has done this, you find. And she's like, I found this tape and this crowbar and these other things.
His bag and this
like,
rock. So you were going to knock me unconscious and drop me in the river.
And kill me. Yep. And then instead of being like, oh my God, it's true, don't kill me, let me go, or just something like that, he starts talking shit about her.
Yep.
He's like, it's because you were such like a nag, and they like... It becomes this dark.
And then she pulls out a
trailer.
gun, or basically a shotgun, and was like, "And you're gonna shoot me? I was gonna be at least nice about it."
Yeah. It seems clear that it begins basically with this, or pretty early on, and then a movie unfolds, which is about them eviscerating each other verbally as they like kind of dissect their relationship,
and possibly physically.
There's clear at some point there's escapes and there's shooting and punching and violence.
And another couple, maybe with Timothy Olyphant and Juliette Lewis.
Yep, somehow seemed like they might have been pulled into this.
For me, you get 4 of those actors of those caliber. I mean,
it is a very entertaining trailer.
The trailer's great. It's called Over Your Dead Body.
Yeah.
I watched How I Met Your Mother, but it wasn't until Shrinking that I saw Jason Segel as a legitimately good actor.
I've always liked him. I liked him in the Muppet movie. I liked him in Surviving, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
I don't really like either of those movies particularly well.
Yeah,
but I liked him in them, and I was like, I'm glad to finally see him in a project I like, which is Shrinking.
Yep.
And so now I'm like, him and Samara Weaving in a weird dark comedy. I'm for it. I'll watch it.
Yes, I will definitely.
It was a good trailer.
It was.
ComicsPro was this weekend, so a bunch of news came out about comic stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to run a few of them down.
Cool.
They are doing JLA Avengers as facsimile editions.
Right.
This is the really hard to find.
I mean, I would love
Marvel DC crossover where
Kurt Busiek, George Perez.
Yep.
I'd love for them just to put the trade, but if we're not going to get that, this is the next best thing.
I bet that once this is done, they will do a trade again.
Yeah.
I hope.
I bet so.
This is alongside after they did a small print run.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will be in print for a while, and this is a great series.
Yeah. It is like both kind of a crowd pleaser as well as having some deeper dive craziness. Kurt Busiek clearly wanted to touch on every aspect of both teams. Mm-hmm. I believe there's some like time travel stuff. Mm-hmm. You'll see some other characters from the DC universe. Like you're going to see sort of Batman versus Punisher.
Yep.
In it. It's not a major thing, but it is a thing that happened.
But it touches on a lot of characters.
Yep.
It's really good. It may be my favorite of the intercompany crossovers.
Yes.
Yep. You're gonna see, I think Hawkeye and Green Arrow at the barbecue. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see a full throwdown between Thor and Superman, which depending on who you are may or may not make you mad as to how it comes out. But I thought was a good. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good call. And occasionally some deep continuity dives where I'm like, okay, ease down, Busiek. You're getting a little carried away here. But it is a good time. George Perez, it's like one of those career-defining works for him. So, I'm very excited that they're doing that.
Yes.
This is a weird one, but kind of delightful. Kevin Smith is coming back to Marvel.
Yep.
To write, along with artist Giuseppe Camuncoli, Jay and Silent Bob, Jays of Future Past. This, I gotta read this paragraph. Capped Tan American J, that's capped as in teeth caps.
Yes.
And friendly neighborhood wider man Silent Bob make a quick stop in the Marvel Universe, but when Doctor Doom decrees these Jersey guys must die, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, and a whole hoary host of heroes must team up on a joint mission to save the dim-witted duo from a lethal case of superhero fatigue.
Joint mission, huh?
There's so many plays on words in that.
What all are they going to let Kevin Smith get away with?
I don't know, but it looks like fun.
Yeah. Did Kevin Smith do the Green Arrow Hawkeye crossover story in?
He did. Yes.
And Batman Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was a very, very fun job on that. They've been doing some fun stuff with Jay and Silent Bob.
The Archie Jay and Silent Bob was super fun. Yeah,
was ridiculous and fun. So it's crazy to think, but this is the time. We live in the golden age of crossovers right now.
We do. It's great.
You can find the Ninja Turtles, the Power Rangers, and all your favorite characters crossing over at some point or another.
The Ninja Turtles are everywhere. Yeah.
Chances are they're actually going to be like halfway decent. Like, like some of these are quite good. So, I guess it's time.
Yeah,
it's just time.
Looks like fun. DC is launching in about 3 weeks. We're going to get the second stage of All In, which means new books from we got Lobo, Deathstroke, and Batwoman.
Yep.
They announced the next wave. There's 3 more. That is Barbara Gordon Breakout from Mariko Tamaki and an artist named Amanke Nahupan. The Deadman #1 from the creative team of Ice Cream Man and Superman Kryptonite Spectrum.
Okay.
That'll be interesting.
And New Teen Titans by Kyle Higgins and Danielle DiNiccolo, which is that's the people who do Radiant Black. And Danielle DiNiccolo was doing Power Rangers.
Oh, the Radiant Black person is doing do Teen Titans. Interesting.
Yeah. And the Teen Titans are doing, it's Red Hood putting together a new team of young heroes to find missing teens with superpowers.
Oh, interesting.
Looks like maybe Flatline from that Robin series.
Oh,
yep.
And Cheshire Cat, a.k.a. Leanne Harper.
Yep.
Look to be 2 of the members of the team.
That sounds fun. This is going to be kind of a bad boy Teen Titans.
Yeah,
team.
looks like, well, because the regular Teen Titans is going to be, they're renaming Teen Titans to New Titans.
Right.
And I forget who the writer is, but it's going to be John Kent and Nubia and some of the other characters in there. It's not Nubia, it's Wonder Woman's daughter, whose name I forget.
Trinity? Or no?
It's Trinity, I think that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It has a good lineup, too, and that's coming the same. That's just going to be Titans number 33. Deadman is kind of fun. It looks like it's in continuity, so it's not Black Label like their previous series. Yep. And it is, there are souls trapped in a loop of ghostly derangement. And Boston Brand is going to possess the lemming and many human like to uncover the source of disruption and restore order before the entire world slips in a spiritual freefall.
What did you say? The living in what?
The living in the metahuman.
Metahuman. Okay.
So this is very much a sort of almost like a Vertigo take on Deadman, but in the DC universe.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them taking some of these like second tier characters, many of which are like favorite oddballs of mine.
Yeah.
And like Batgirl is basically like one step from being A-list, and she's which Batgirl
is it's Barbara.
It's Barbara. Okay.
So basically, because Vandal Savage is the commissioner.
Yep.
And she is the former commissioner's daughter.
Yep.
She has been shipped off to Supermax for aiding the Bat family.
Okay.
So she's surrounded by criminals and guards and basically has to break out.
Nice. Yeah. Wonder if there'll be a story like this could have any weight for us now. The idea of somebody being wrongfully imprisoned by somebody completely abusing their power.
Dave, why?
Just, I don't know. Maybe if I really think about it, I can find a way to tie it into.
Yeah.
I might be reaching.
Yeah.
I know, but maybe I can find a way to tie it into our modern world.
We've been seeing hints of this, and I actually wondered if this was coming, and it is. The Skybound universe. The Energon universe is expanding with a new title, which is Mask, a.k.a. Mobile Armored Strike Command. Is that right, Nick?
I believe that is true. They, of course, spelled command with a K.
Yes. Mobile Armored...
You do what you got to do to make the acronym work.
That's true.
Mobile Armored Strike Command, which will face off against Venom, Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Are they going to keep that?
Yes.
They have
Vicious
to.
Evil.
They have to. It is right there in the title.
Yep.
That's goofier than Cobra does. Now, that said, they have laid the seeds for this in, like, G.I. Joe.
Yep.
And we have seen both Miles Mayhem and Matt Tracker, and they have been cool.
You know, the interesting thing is, if Mask is in this universe, and I believe that this is the plan, is basically that Mask as a toy line was kind of weird because they were Transformers, but they had pilots. It felt like a knockoff.
Well, it wasn't Transformers because their
one vehicle would become another vehicle.
Yeah, their vehicles transform another vehicle. But I bet that they are using Energon Transformer technology to make these vehicles.
Yes. I think Matt Tracker is known of their existence and has utilized the technology in order to make this. Miles Mayhem's copying it.
I don't ever want to look like too much for realism in these things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, the one mask toy I had as a kid was, I believe, a motorcycle that turns into a helicopter.
Yeah, I had that one.
Brad
That was cool.
Condor.
That's
his name.
What's that dude's name?
Brad Condor.
Oh, I thought you said Rad Condor, and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh,
And
the
then
villain.
what was the there was also like a sports car kind of thing that
That
transformed
was
into
Matt
something.
Tractor's own vehicle.
Yeah,
What
the
did it turn
Thunderbird.
into?
It's just like a flying car.
Yeah,
Oh,
it basically was a
Oh,
Trans Am that the wings became.
I had that
Yeah.
too.
I had
it
a
was,
lot of
It was
these.
cool looking. I was just trying to think, like, okay, at least those do make sense. You know, like we've seen Shield's flying cars already,
yeah.
and this is like a more geared up car anyway. And being able to be on a motorcycle that can turn into a helicopter, pretty cool. Back and forth with that. But I was like, are there any of them where it doesn't make a lot of sense?
No.
Like,
All of them are
my
feasible.
motorcycle turns into a submarine, and I'm like, I hope these guys chase me to a lake.
Yeah, I'm like Miles Mayhem's big airplane turned into a helicopter.
It's okay.
Or a helicopter turned into a plane. I forget which one.
Sure, but those are both the same thing. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, but a plane can't hover most of the time.
That's
most
true.
planes can't.
Yeah.
By the way, if I do lure them successfully to the lake
Yes.
with my motorcycle that turns into a submarine,
Yeah.
I intend to launch an entire battery of nuclear missiles from the submarine,
Yeah.
and nuke the entire
The villain
country.
motorcycle guy. I forget
You're
what,
part of Venom. Dave, you're-
Miles Mayhem forever.
there was a villain motorcycle guy, and I forget what his sidecar turned into something kind of a submersible or something. I can't remember what it was. I remember his name was Sly Rax.
By the way, we need to come up with our own mask names. Like
Yeah.
one like Dave
Yeah.
Daring or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Or a villain name. Maybe
Yeah.
we should each have both a hero and
Now,
a villain name.
all of
in case
this sounds-
we're turncoats.
Yes.
All of this sounds really goofy, but this is going to be lensed through writer Dan Waters.
Dan Waters, yep.
Who is the person who did Destro, and
Right.
he tends to do kind of real
Yeah, he did
world
Batman
kind of
Dark Patterns, yeah.
espionage and,
Oh, he's the
like,
Dark
darker
Patterns
stuff.
guy too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little more realism, probably.
And also the even the instances in G.I. Joe have been like kind of cool and in the same way the regular G.I. Joe has been, but not ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're goofing around, but yeah, they're treating them in a cool way.
The only thing that might be a little strange, and I don't know how they're going to do it, is that their masks had a power.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yeah, they all did
They had
something.
helmets that did something,
Yeah,
right?
like one did like
yeah.
holograms, and it was all kind of unique stuff. So I don't know
So
how
like
they're
any
going
given character had like both whatever their cool vehicle was and
whatever
some sort
their-
of helmet that did something.
Yes,
Yep.
I want a helmet that does something.
I know, but it'd be cool.
All right, we'll all have helmets that do something and cool superhero names.
All right.
But the artist on this is Pi Par from New Gods, the most recent New Gods.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And I've had a bunch of
That's-
good artists, so I can't remember. Is that one of the main artists?
Yeah, it's a good artist. And then the variant covers include J. Scott Campbell, Mark Spears, and Daniel Warren Johnson.
I think Daniel Warren Johnson had Matt Tracker and the Thunderbird driving through a drive-thru.
It does. It's a
and
great.
it was delightful.
It's a great cover.
Also, since J. Scott Campbell has, going years back, has done a lot of G.I. Joe covers and commissions and stuff like that, he's a good fit for Mask as well.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then the last one is not a comics announcement. It's almost too ridiculous to be true, but it is true. Netflix is going to develop a Ticket to Ride movie.
Oh my gosh.
The board game Ticket to Ride.
The board game Ticket to Ride.
You know, that is a fun game. It is not so thematic that I can put together a story for
I
it.
want to be a fly on the wall in the writer's room. Like, what the hell are you going to do?
It says it spans scripted and unscripted arenas.
So the unscripted is going to be like a play-along or something? or
No,
like,
no. I bet it's going to be something on our train car. You know, it's going to be some weird thing where like you have to travel by train to get places or something. Some weird like greatest race or whatever.
Oh,
the
so
race.
you're thinking like reality kind of.
I'm thinking reality
interesting.
TV. But also a around the world in 80 days kind of style movie about trains and time period. They could make it work. It's no weirder than Catan, which they also have the rights to. So yeah, Battleship had a movie. So
and let's not forget that at its that Clue has a great movie.
Clue has a great movie.
Is
You
it
never know.
it the only board game? It's got to be the only board game with a great movie.
Unless you count Jumanji,
Yeah,
which is
unless
not a real
you
board
count
game.
Oh, well, you know what though?
It's not a real board game.
It's
true.
become a board game.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, like I believe on technicality it's not on the list, but that is a pretty beloved.
Battleship is not a good movie.
No. This reminds me, though, of a weird thing I read recently, talking about Pulp Fiction when they were making it. Apparently, John Travolta is a big collector of nostalgic board games.
Okay.
So he and Tarantino, like between sets, he made him play not the Happy Days game, but the Welcome Back Kotter board game.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, if you ever meet John Travolta, you must, as with the Ingmar Bergman movie where you have to play chess against death.
Yeah.
If you ever face John Travolta, if you want him to not take your face off, you have to play him and win him in a game of the Welcome Back Kotter board game. So just keep that in mind.
I bet it's a good game. What's this? Board Game Geek only has it at a 3.2. What?
They're going to have to face John Travolta in the octagon. All right, let's take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk maybe about a TV show and possibly a movie.
We'll see what the big deal is. I really don't.
All right, well, recently James Van Der Beek passed away, and
people knew him best from what? Dawson's
Creek.
Creek and anything else.
The other thing is the thing I know him from.
What?
Which is a short-lived sitcom called Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Yep.
This was a period. There was a period there where like ABC and NBC were making shows with titles they couldn't say.
Sure.
Right.
So this was originally called Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. They couldn't say that.
Yeah.
Right.
They had, what's his name, Shatner in Shit My Dad Says they could not say.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one, they would keep doing these titles that they couldn't say the title of, which is it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I watched, I think, the second season of this, and I never watched the first one. And so I was like, this. Why don't I revisit? I know I like this. It also, notably, Don't Trust the Bee had Kristen Ritter,
Yep.
a.k.a.
Jessica
Jones.
Yep.
She was the titular bee.
Always good. Yep.
And had Dreama Walker, who I'm trying to think what else she's been in. She was on The Good Wife. Trying to think what else she's known for. Oh, she's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know who she plays in there. She's a good actress.
Yeah.
But she plays basically the premise of Don't Trust the Bee is this girl comes to, I want to say it's Los Angeles. It feels like it was New York, but it had to have been Los Angeles. So
No, it's
New York. That's so weird. So because it feels like it was in L.A.
Yeah.
But so she moves from Indiana to New York City to work in finance. She gets there, and her company is being shut down for insider trading. She's lost her job. She doesn't want to go back home, so she meets this. She tries to find a roommate. She meets this girl, Chloe, who's kind of a party girl, and then Chloe sleeps with her fiance, and it's revealed that Chloe basically. Her fiance had been cheating on her with various people, and Chloe didn't wanted her to find out, and so she sort of did her a favor in the most weird way possible.
Yep.
And as a result, she winds up staying with this girl as her roommate.
Okay.
This roommate's scam is that she actually gets people to be her roommate and then drives them away, keeps their deposit, because she's like, I'm doing them a favor. They're not going to survive in New York City. I'm getting them out of here safely. And so she explains this to her best friend, actor James Van Der Beek.
Yes. He's portraying himself.
Playing himself.
Yes.
And they are platonic friends, but they've been friends for a long time. And he is playing sort of a self-centered version of himself.
Scam or
no? He's just kind of a
sounding
He's
board.
just there.
He's kind of a Seinfeldy version of himself. He's very much self-centered. He's got a gay bestie named Luther, who is his assistant. And they get into a variety of things in New York's party scene and that kind of thing. The running story about James Van Der Beek is that he is going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and he is up against his nemesis, which kind of hilarious in retrospect, Dean Cain.
Oh, wow.
Who at the time was like Superman Dean Cain and not right-wing douchebag.
Right, merely a slightly washed-up actor.
Also, Kevin Sorbo shows up in one of the episodes.
Oh, speaking of...
Yeah, so didn't age great.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of bits like that. But it is surprisingly dark sometimes, this show. It's really funny. And it's sort of about... In her heart, like, Chloe is basically a good friend to this person, but she is also very self-centered, and they don't shy away from that.
Yeah.
It is really. It is made by Nanachka Khan.
Oh yeah.
Who did Fresh Off the Boat.
Yep.
Young Rock. The show Laid on Peacock that you and I both liked.
Yep.
And also the films Always Be My Maybe and Totally Killer.
Yeah.
Just double checking. Young Rock was about the young mythological giant bird.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. But she's really funny. I guess this was like her first thing.
Okay. That makes sense. It's of a piece of all of those.
Yeah. She worked on American Dad and on a series called Unfabulous, but this was her first. Oh, she worked on Malcolm in the Middle. But this was her first thing. It was her like showrunner thing, and it is hysterical. Really well done.
Did you finish the whole season?
Yeah, so the first season is only like 7 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And the second season is like 16. You can't stream this anywhere, but you can buy on an Apple for $5 a season.
Okay.
Which is totally worth it.
Yeah.
And my friend Les, who's a big fan of TV stuff, he was on a TV podcast with me. He sent me the watching order because apparently they chopped this up really badly. Oh. So I watched it in the order he gave me because there's a story of like James Van Der Beek's Dancing with the Stars, but this was a time. This was in like I want to say 2010, 2012,
where they just aired.
Where
stuff.
they're like it's a sitcom. It doesn't have stories.
Yeah.
And so they just chopped up the story, and so you would see him like get together and break up with people, and like something would happen and there'd be no consequences for it. So you have to like jump around between season 1 and season 2 and back and forth.
Whoa.
It's not even they just mixed up season 1 and season 1 episodes. They mixed up both seasons.
That's crazy.
So, but I did watch it in that order. When I rewatch it, I'll probably watch it whatever order is just for comedy. But it does do look up the order for it. It did work better.
Flow a little bit better
to get that. But this was a ton of fun. I did not remember how smart and funny this show was.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely worth a look. And Dave, you had just finished listening to the audiobook of a book that the movie Blade Runner is based on.
Yes. The famously James Tinian prophesying title, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes.
And let's see, Randy, you said you'd read it in a sci-fi class in college, maybe?
In high school.
High school.
It has been a long time.
I don't think I actually have ever read this one.
I had not read it before. I think I'd started to read it, and I was like, "Oh, this is too weird and different from Blade Runner."
Where's the gun-toting Blade Runner?
Which actually does kind of slide into more Blade Runner roles early on.
Yeah.
But or after a little bit.
Yeah.
But it he is still a. They don't use the term Blade Runner, but he is a bounty hunter for the police who hunts down androids, or Andes as they call them, which is not the coolest sounding name, but it is what they call them throughout it. And the androids are clearly exactly like replicants. They don't mention until quite a ways into the book the notion that they actually have limited lifespans, but it does deal with some of the same issues, as well as something that is not present in the movie, but I gather present in like much of Philip K. Dick's other work. Because he was like a LSD madman, which is a question
with depression,
of like,
right? Like he's got some stuff.
Yeah, he's got some stuff, which is questions of what is real. But it starts out in this kind of like Rick Deckard wakes up. He's married. That's like he's just a married guy in the book. And he's like gets into an argument with his wife, and it's already kind of a little depressing because they're just kind of like sniping at each other. And there's like two kind of things that are not in the movie that are like technological things in their household. One is the mood organ.
Yeah.
A thing that you where you kind of like dial up an emotion. It seems like everybody is a little bit kind of, because it is like Earth is kind of like this, post-disaster. They call it like World War Terminus. And it sounded like it could have been like a disaster sort of on the level that like Earth's never going to recover from it. And that's why everybody is so not unlike the movie, this kind of squalid LA. Right. It is set in LA. And there is still off-world colonies, although somebody will in fact I think later say it's not so good out there. Like, so there's not even though many people have left the Earth, is not necessarily to a better life. So that's Philip K. Dick for you.
Did they? I just had a flash. Didn't Boom Studios early on?
They
do almost like a word for word adaptation.
They were required to, which I think had to have been weird because that meant that they would be drawing a picture and still have to have a thing that is like Deckard drew his gun, and something like that, and then there's like a picture of him drawing his gun, and I was like, normally you would leave that to the artist.
Yeah.
But I am curious now because I kind of want to see how all these characters were visualized.
Yeah.
So anyway, the mood organ, you like dial up an emotion, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of emotions, and it's kind of almost darkly funny in its specificity. He's like, he wants to go to his job. He's like, I'm gonna dial up newly reinvigorated and excited for the workday. That's like the emotion he's gonna.
Yeah.
He wants to. His wife is like super depressed. Like she sounds like a person undergoing real depression, and she's like, I don't even want to experience those. I'm going to be too angry at if you like make me be happy, I'm going to be it's going to make me more depressed later and stuff. So, and then there's a sequence where he goes outside, and this will inform the whole rest of the book. He has a sort of thing with a neighbor, a discussion. Everybody in this world, it seems like after World War Terminus, that there was and the invention of these androids, that it seems like humans needed to redefine themselves to show their empathy levels. And it is the thing that separates them from androids. Androids in this, although there's a whole lot about the blurring between them, a lot of the movie's themes are in the book, that androids do lack empathy and will sort of sell each other out and stuff like that. Like they don't want to die, and sometimes they have implanted memories like in the movie, so they don't know always that they're androids. But sometimes, but they will turn on each other. They don't care, and they can be quite cruel and brutal. He has a neighbor who has I forget a horse. Every human everybody has a pet of some sort, and that's how you show that you're empathetic because you take care of an animal.
Right.
But he has an electric sheep. And it's apparently all but indistinguishable. If you didn't tell somebody, they might not know ever. But he knows, and he cannot stand. It's like the driving force of his motivation. The whole book, it all takes place in one day. He gets $1,000 bonus, big in 1960s money, and of course it's set in the far-flung future of 2021.
Right.
Sure.
He gets $1,000 bonus for every android he brings down, and he is I want to get a real animal. That's it. And what's interesting is you know how in the movie Deckard is kind of he's the protagonist, but in a lot of ways he doesn't show as much emotion except when he kind of falls for Rachel.
Right.
Yep.
As the replicants will show for themselves. Well, there's a lot of that in this. He's hunting down these things that don't have empathy, but they have to dial up emotions and stuff like that. And by the way, I saw this pointed out somebody said it's kind of like how we will you'll doom scroll and get depressed, and then you're I need to watch some funny TikToks and feel better. Yeah. And I'm it is not wildly different from exactly what he's doing here. There's a reason Philip K. Dick is kind of considered a madman prophet.
Yep.
The father of all this.
And this all takes place in one day. I feel like the movie is kind of vaguely takes place over a week or something like that. This takes place in one day, and he's almost there's some dark comedy in it. There's a point, that part in the movie where he's interviewing Leon at the beginning, or his Holden is one of the other Blade Runners, and the he's just dumb. He's
what's a turtle?
He's what's a turtle? What's a tortoise? He's and he gets frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, there's a replicant who has she has a good singing voice and is gotten very quickly into an opera company. And Deckard is a little smarter in this than you kind of get the impression, a little more cultured than in the movie, because he's I see that he goes to stop her to an opera house to take her down, and he's I recognize this. I have the record of this or whatever. This is such and such opera. And he watches her perform, and he's well, she's really good. She's actually as good as any human. And it seems when he's attracted to a replicant or when he's impressed by their abilities and stuff like that, he starts to have doubts. But then sometimes he will just as readily be able to kill them. So not unlike the replicants who turn on each other and stuff like that. But here's the funny part: when he's he wants to do the Voight-Kampff test, which was also in the book, and see if she's a replicant. And she's a little bit oh, of course, darling. And she's I don't have much time, but I can do this. And she is he's trying to ask her these questions, and she keeps interrupting. So it'd be if he said, if she was getting the same questions from the movie, like, you're out in a desert, she'd be like, oh, what desert? She's like, I've traveled around and I've seen several of them.
Yeah.
And she just keeps doing that with every damn question. And he's like, look, reaction time is a factor. He's like, I need you to rein it in. And she's like, what was the word you used? Oh, that's such a strange word. Why would you say it that way or whatever? Among the other most interesting things that happens, at one point, a security guy stops him and says, she calls security, and she's like, this man is harassing me. I think he could be wanting to kill me. And they actually call the police out, and he is taken into the station. While he's at the station, he's talking to the police captain, and he's like, oh, they're claiming I'm a replicant, and it's the first of the kind of mindfuckery of this, where you're like, wait, is he a replicant in this? Because they do tease it early on. Yeah. And then the cop who brings him in, it'll turn out that the police captain of this entire office is a replicant, and that they have set up a false police office so that they can occasionally use it if they need to, as to hide out sort of in plain sight.
Oh, interesting.
Or bring in people to it. But not everybody there is a replicant. There's actually some humans working for them.
Sure.
It's pretty wild. Along the way, let's see, John Isidore is a guy, who the dude who's the J.F. Sebastian?
Yep.
He's a dude who lives on the outskirts of the cities where most people live, and he's a special, which means that the radiation from the war has meant that he can't have kids, and he's got some genetic damage. And but he's actually and he's kind of got a stutter, but he's actually the most empathetic character in the whole book, and he gets notably more screen time. He's in a somewhat similar role. This is the guy in the movie who Pris finds and Roy Batty eventually meets up with, who kind of helps them, and you can tell part of it is he's attracted to Pris in the movie, and part of it is he's also a little bit afraid of him. That does all happen in the book very differently, but
yeah, it's funny. He
is the nicest person in it, and really doesn't have a sort of a bad side, other than for a little while he's helping them without knowing fully what's going on.
I like I said, I haven't read this since high school. But I was looking at sort of the Wikipedia plot description and remembering some of the weird, the weird focus on real animals and robot animals and the status of it is nowhere to be found in the movie, but it's very important to the book.
I feel like there's a dozen times in it, Nick, where Deckard is talking with somebody and he actually, that owl that Rachel and Terrell had, they're wanting to hire him to do something at some point, and they're like, we could give you this owl. And he's like, whoa, really? He's like, that's a real owl. He's like, that's almost priceless, and it will turn out it's fake. But he has this book. There's the standard guide. They not digital, of course, because they didn't envision that in the '60s. But he carries it around with him everywhere, and anytime he sees an animal, he looks it up, and he's like, well, what would the cost of that one be? How much is it if it's a little bit older? And he looks up all these details. Philip K. Dick has a bit of the Grant Morrison thing where he's almost, in some ways, almost got too many ideas going on in this, but he'll casually talk about some of these things somewhat at length, and I'm like, what a cool and weird and interesting idea. I also felt like the book is written, even though it has a little bit of that hard-boiledness of the movie too, that there's sort of empathetic conversations, and the vibe of it is actually more empathetic than the movie. It's a little bit less cold.
The book is a little trippier. I mean, it makes sense.
It is.
given the way that Dick was, but the movie is a straight up sort of noir sci-fi.
Right. And the only question you might have at the end of the movie, which wasn't really even until later versions made it more clear, director's cuts, was if Deckard was a replicant.
But the book is weirder, has different alleys, and it's a fascinating read.
Yeah, so it's really good, and because it all takes place in one day, and by the end of that day he's at the edge of exhaustion, there are some hallucinatory things that happen at the end, and I'm like, was that even real?
Yeah, there's a whole cult leader type thing that's going on.
Everybody, the other sort of machine or tech that's in everybody's apartment or every house is this empathy box. You hold two handles, and you are joined mentally with everybody else in the world who is doing it at the same time. But it's you always undergo the exact same thing. There's this sort of guy named Mercer who has kind of a cult, a messiah-like figure vibe to him.
Okay.
And he's always climbing a mountain, trying to ascend and kind of escape his sins or something. And you're traveling with him. And people throw rocks at him. And when they hit you in this shared empathy thing, if you get hit with one of them, you'll like bruise or get blood in real life. But it's like if you're in a happy mood that day, you might actually share that happiness with other people. And if you're sad, you might be uplifted by other people's emotions. And there's like Deckard meets Mercer at the end, even though he is like seems to be almost more of like a virtual reality construct or something like that. He meets him, and and at some point he thinks he is him. Like, it is, the mind-bendy stuff in this is very mind-bendy.
So, you said you listened to the audiobook of this?
It's a great reading.
Is it? Okay.
It's not some famous
what version
reading.
was it? Do you know?
I listened through Spotify.
Okay. Because it says that there was one in 1994 that had Matthew Modine and Callista Flockhart on voices.
Oh, interesting.
This was a new version was released in 2007 to coincide the release of the final cut, read by Scott Brick, unabridged.
I think that probably is the one. I would highly recommend that version of it.
Okay.
There's a lot to recommend about this, and it's both. At times, it's weirdly close to the movie. Even a few lines of dialogue they pulled right from it.
Yeah.
And at times, it's wildly divergent, and it's interesting to see what they all are. There's another Blade Runner bounty hunter guy in it who's interesting. The stuff with Isidore is interesting. I haven't even mentioned the weird TV show everybody watches, Buster Friendly.
Right, yep.
And its weird connection to Mercerism, which is the sort of empathy religion that humans follow. And the trippy way it ends.
Yeah.
There's the weird thing with the toad. It's weird.
It's very weird, yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it, though. I have not read much Philip K. Dick. In fact, I think this maybe is the first book I'd read. I feel like I read a few short stories once. And I was very impressed, and it's going to make me read some more of his stuff. I actually just liked his writing style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back next week with more. We'll probably talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yep.
And possibly Predator Badlands.
Yep.
And until that time,
Yo, Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.